Well, for more insights on Biden's ambitious infrastructure plan and what it means for the U.S. economy going forward, we're joined by political analyst Steve Chaggaris here in Washington. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Rachelle, great to be with you.
So what's your take on the key proposals in President Biden that he announced in his infrastructure and jobs package, and who really stands to benefit the most?
Well, what the Democrats want and what Biden wants is to help the middle class and the working class. These are voters who moved over to Donald Trump during the 2016 and 2020 elections. Democrats feel like they've lost support among that group, and they're hoping that this will stimulate jobs, the economy, and attract those kinds of voters back to the Democratic Party. We'll see if this is going to happen the way the Democrats have it planned out, but that's their idea here.
Now, there was quite the laundry list there. So what do you think will take priority in this list of goals, considering that we are in the middle of a pandemic and the U.S. is trying to really spur its recovery?
Well, that's the big question, right? Republicans are saying there's a lot of other stuff in here besides just infrastructure, whether it's green energy, whether it's money that's going to help historically black colleges, whether it's going to help the healthcare and elderly. These are things they're saying aren't part of infrastructure, and it's adding to a $2.3 trillion cost that doesn't need to be in there. There are some Democrats who also agree, but there are also some Democrats who say there's not enough in there. I mean, there are some progressives who are saying we want more on climate change, we want to spend more money. So Biden needs to get, first of all of his Democrats together before this thing is going to get passed through Congress. There's not a chance likely that he's going to get Republicans on board, however, not only because of what's in there, but also because of how it's going to be paid for. Republicans don't like the idea of the corporate tax rate going up.
And so to that point then, walk us through how the administration really does plan to pay for it, as well as the potential economic impact that comes with this spending.
Well, it depends on who you ask. I mean, they do want to, they have said they're going to pay for this by raising the corporate tax back up to 28%, which is really half of what Donald Trump cut it a few years ago. Business does not like this. Corporations don't like this. They like the idea of infrastructure and jobs. They don't like that they're going to have to pay for it. So we'll see how that all plays out. What does it mean for the economy? Again, President Biden and Democrats feel that just getting this passed, getting jobs, getting infrastructure work out there, it's almost like what they think what FDR did back in the 30s, creating government jobs almost. And getting people back to work, that is going to boost the economy. That, in addition to the stimulus that they passed, the COVID stimulus they passed earlier this month, they think that the two of those are really going to juice the economy, and it's going to get things back on track.
Now, it seems like on both sides of the aisle, infrastructure is something that they all seem to want to pass, but it doesn't seem to be ever getting through. How would you describe then the current state of American roads, bridges, schools, etc.?
Well, not very good, and Biden pointed to that. And I think, you know, it's president after president has said, we want to tackle infrastructure. In fact, there was a joke under Donald Trump who said, oh, it's infrastructure week again. And they never wound up getting anything done, partially because things are so polarized in Washington. Republicans and Democrats have trouble getting together to agree on anything these days. And a lot of times to pass these kinds of bills, you need 60 votes in the Senate, meaning you need to get some members of the other party to join up. Biden's going to try to get this through with 50 in the Senate. We'll see if he can do that. You know, the political environment's a little bit different for Biden right now. One, he has enough votes if he wants to get this with 50 through the Senate. But also, it seems like Americans are listening to Biden, are supportive of what he's doing, and they think that this is needed at this point. You know, usually when these kinds of bills come up, there's a worry that it's going to cost too much, it's going to add to the national debt. Those aren't concerns with Americans right now. And so he's got a little bit of political capital to play with. Biden knows this, and I think that's why he's pushing a lot of this spending through early in his first term.
And as we know, having a lot of green proposals also a priority for this administration. Now, we did see in his proposal, we saw something for electric vehicles, cleaner water supplies, upgrading public transport, etc. How much does this plan address climate change?
Well, that's about it. You pretty much named everything. And again, I think, you know, that's an easy argument to make in terms of if you want to call this an infrastructure bill, those things that you listed, you know, can fit under that infrastructure umbrella. But progressives, Democrats, some of them want to spend up to $10 trillion on climate change. They want more aggressive climate change policies dumped into this bill, or at least worked on over the coming year or two. It's expensive stuff. I'm not sure Biden feels that this is the right place for that, and I'm not sure he feels he can get that through Congress, and that's why I think he had a very limited amount of green energy and climate change proposals in this plan.
So then, given what we've seen, is this all too ambitious given the size of this package as well as the current political tensions?
That's a very good question. I mean, again, the detractors, Republicans, people who are not supporting this say it is too much. But at the end of the day, Biden, again, feels like he can get this stuff through. There's a very small window, he feels, where not only the Democrats have the majority in the House and the Senate, and they are controlling the White House, but there's a period here where Americans, I think, are in the mood to get the economy back on track. And I think if Biden can make the argument that this will help the economy, Americans are going to be not very resistant to that. And then I think he feels long term, at least going into the midterms next year in 2022, that this will all benefit his party because he thinks this will juice the economy, this will bring back jobs, and this is something they can sell to the American people. And long term, it'll help his party's prospects.
We'll certainly be following all the next steps. Thanks you, as always, Steve Chaggaris there, political analyst based in Washington.